Hello, beer fans. I think it's fair to say that a lot of beer drinkers are familiar with Dark Star and particularly their Hophead Pale Ale. This is a new one from there. I think it's a fairly new one. It's their Starlink IPA comes at 5.5% ABV. I picked this up in Home Bargains. I think I paid about £1.80. Anyway, let's review it, shall we? Welcome to Danny's Beer Reviews, everybody. Like I said, I think this is relatively new. I think it came out August, September last year. It's a West Coast IPA. It's available I know it's definitely available in Waitrose. Like I said, I've picked it up for a bargain in Home Bargains. They do decent beers, these guys, which I think really makes the history of them. They've had a very checkered, not their fault. 7 years ago, they were bought out by Fuller's, and they were bought out by Asahi. Those guys that do the lagers. Beers were brewed at Fuller's, then they weren't brewed at Fuller's. They were poured at Meantime Brewery, and then Asahi closed Meantime Brewery and stuff. I mean, I think throughout all this, the original brewery got closed down anyway, and I think everything's gone back to Fuller's. So I think everything is now brewed for them by Fuller's. It's a strange one, but all that must have a knock-on effect of quality of the beers produced. Surely it must do. So like I say, a bit of a checkered history. But also, like I said, cracking beers. If you haven't had Hophead Pale Ale, do try and have a little taste of it because it's really nice, particularly on draft. You can get it in bottles, possibly cans. I don't know. Right, we're not going to do all the fancy stuff because it is a shop bought beer, so we're just going to go straight in there and taste it. So, cheers, everybody. Yeah, it's a classic West Coast IPA. A lovely, lovely citrus up front. There's a little tropical note in there as well. A little hint of something tropical. Lovely base caramel flavour, light caramel sweetness and flavour coming from the malts. It is really nice. Now, interestingly, have another swig. It's really crushable. It is really crushable. It's crisp, it's refreshing. Now, I always think a really good West Coast IPA should be a really easy drinker. It should almost, for me, it should almost be lager-esque. And like I say, it should be crisp and refreshing. You should just be able to quaff it quite easily. The bitterness is nice. I was scared it's going to be quite a mild bitterness, but it's actually quite nice and really nice, punchy, zesty bitterness. And there's a nice little touch of sweetness in there as well. Overall, as a beer goes, it's very smooth and even at 5.5%, very sessionable. Now, I always find ratings, my own ratings for West Coast IPAs a little bit troublesome because I can tolerate a high level of bitterness, really tolerate it, and so I like to get that. I like to get a good bitterness in there. Where some might not like it, some might not have the tolerance for bitterness and might not like it, and so you can get one West Coast IPA, you can get reviewers and drinkers thinking really very differently about it just because of the tolerance to the bitters more than anything else. So I always score it as obviously as I can with the level of bitterness, I suppose, that's in there. Now, for me, I think it could have a little bit more. Not a lot more, but I think this could have a little bit more. It's a growing bitterness, I'll give it that. For me, it just needs that. Oh, it just needs a little bit more. But other than that, it's a decent enough West Coast IPA, and this should be. I know a couple of drinkers who would definitely like this. Definitely like it. So my rating for it then. Starlink IPA from Dark Star Brewing. I would happily score this 7.5 out of 10. That's right, it's a 7.5 out of 10 from Andy's Beer Reviewers. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all the usual bump that we like to do on socials. Drink responsibly, everybody, wherever you're drinking. Enjoy beers. Cheers.